Yo, YouTube's going y'all boys, man. Back at y'all with another reaction, man. We got meet the toughest quarterback in the NFL, aka they're saying Matthew Stafford is the toughest quarterback in the NFL, man. Let's take a check. Let's check it out, man.
He's played through broken bones, torn ligaments, and injuries that would have ended most players' careers. But Stafford kept going, setting the record.
Is Stafford one of the GOATs?
In NFL
I say he Hall of Fame for sure.
From a poverty franchise into an actual NFL team and leading the Rams to a Super Bowl, Stafford has been a beast.
I guess he led the Rams and not the defense. I guess.
We need to go back to the
not hating at all. Not hating at all.
Now, unlike the way he plays, Stafford's childhood was anything but tough. He grew up in Highland Park, Texas, one of the wealthiest areas in the country.
Grew up in a happy home, man.
Any kid playing backyard football. From an early age, his parents knew he was different. Stafford had a natural
excuse me.
and it didn't take long for people to notice. He grew up surrounded by talent too. His childhood best friend, none other than Clayton Kershaw, the future MLB superstar and Cy Young winner. The two weren't just friends; they were both
of them pro.
Pushed each other to be great.
Really pretty good little center, pretty good football player, tough guy. Somebody hit me late in the game once, and he.
Oh, that was his boy.
I got mad about it. So the next play, I cut blocked my guy, and I got him on the ground or whatever. And then, as he was sitting there, I gave him a good punch to the gut and got ejected.
While Kershaw was
he got ejected just for that boy Stafford. If your homie not doing that, you're not your homie.
Arm strength that looked unfair for kids his age.
That bit did have a steamer.
We do 6-man football in 4th grade, and he was throwing the ball. I don't know. He was throwing the ball further than everybody else. And then actually, we did track meets in elementary school, and instead of the shot put, we did the softball throw. And the softball throw, he just dominated that too. So he's always had a great arm.
Unlike so many other NFL stars,
he looks so young.
Out of tough situations, Stafford's journey started from a place of privilege. His dad was a former college swimmer, and his mom was a full-time supporter of his athletic dreams, and he had access.
Yeah, so I ain't gonna lie. It's all about who you know, bro.
By checking Allstate first.
It's all about who you know, bro.
And coaching money could buy, and it paid off. By the time Matthew Stafford reached high school, he wasn't just another talented.
That boy was elite.
He was the quarterback. His arm strength was already elite, and while most high school QBs were trying to throw a clean spiral, Stafford was launching 50-yard bombs with ease. Oh, and his numbers? Yeah, they're ridiculous. As a senior, he threw for 4,018 yards and 38 touchdowns.
4K?
Highland Park to a perfect
15-0?
record in a state championship in 2000.
Angela, that linebacker look like a menace, boy. Look at Angela. You see a linebacker like this in high school, boy, he's a headhunter. This nigga's a headhunter. I can tell this linebacker nice, bro. Just off the drip, bro. Let's be real, bro. And he got the neck pad, bro. Oh, yeah. This nigga right here, nice. That linebacker.
15-0 record in a state championship in 2005.
And the state championship.
One-ranked quarterback in the nation, a parade All-American, and the MVP of the U.S. Army All-American Bowl. Matthew Stafford was so good in high school that Mel Kiper Jr. predicted he'd be the first pick in the NFL draft even before his college career.
Wow, they had a #1 pick in the draft before high school. He's done with high school.
Offering him a scholarship, Stafford had his pick from the best, but for him,
I don't know where he
there was
went.
only one real option.
I don't know.
Stafford became
Stafford with the Georgia?
midway through his true freshman season in 2006.
I didn't know that.
Despite some growing pains, his talent was absolutely undeniable. By his sophomore year, he was one of the best quarterbacks in the country, throwing for 2,523 yards and 19 touchdowns, while leading Georgia to an 11.
Yeah, I have no idea, but for the Georgia.
But it was in 2008 during his junior year where he really broke out. He threw for 3,549 yards,
3K
touchdowns, and just 10 interceptions, setting a school record for single-season passing yards at the time. His arm strength was on full display in games like Georgia's win over LSU, where he torched the Tigers for 249 yards and 2 touchdowns. And despite never winning a national championship,
never won an Natty though.
Was real. And by now, heading into the NFL draft, Mel Kiper's prediction from a few years prior was now about to become a reality. But there was one problem. It wasn't going to be exactly an ideal situation for Stafford to go into. You see, the Detroit Lions coming off of an 0-6
I ain't gonna lie, it's kind of an L being the best
season.
player, bro, because you know you're going to the first team, bro.
Franchise quarterback.
So is it really
Somebody
good
that
being a
had
first-round pick?
And Stafford was their guy.
First pick in the 2009 NFL draft.
I would have cried going to Detroit.
Lions select
Like, I would have cried
Matthew
being.
Stafford.
He was the first overall pick.
When Matthew Stafford arrived in
I mean, the only thing you got to think is I'm gonna turn this franchise around.
Yeah, for 50 years, this organization has
With
been
no
looking
weapons.
for the next Bobby Lane, and how fitting is it for Matthew Stafford to come from Bobby Lane's high school, Highland Park in Dallas? They've got to surround this guy. He's got all the talent in the world. We know that.
They didn't
But
surround
now
it. Well, now they gave him
gotta
Megatron,
improve the
my
rest of that
fault.
football team to give that quarterback a chance.
The Lions had just suffered the first
They
ever
went
loss
0-16.
in NFL history, but there was one positive.
They got a big arm
0-16 is so
quarterback, and I tell you
nasty.
this, They got a great receiver.
Niggas didn't win this. They couldn't even tie a game.
237-pound freak of nature wide receiver.
Mama, there goes that man.
is Megatron. In his very first game, Stafford threw a touchdown pass to Calvin Johnson in a comeback win over the New Orleans Saints.
Mm.
Most promising quarterback wide receiver duos.
Calvin, look at him go. Look at that
Stafford's camera
specimen.
was on full display from day one, but it wasn't always pretty. He threw 13 touchdowns and 20 interceptions.
Damn, 20 picks?
And despite the rough start, Stafford
Holy
did
shit.
show flashes of what he could become. He did manage to become the first rookie in NFL history to throw 5 touchdown passes in a single game. During
5 touchdowns in a game is insane back then.
Over the Cleveland Browns in Week 10.
8 seconds remaining. Stafford takes the snap, sets in the pocket, rolls left. This is going to be it. He's got to get rid of it. Stafford sets, looks, now let it back to his right. Stafford looking for somewhere to go, sets it low.
Damn, that boy got. Ooh, that's a hit. Ooh, that's when he broke his ribs.
Stafford shaking up, he's up. Is Stafford coming back in? I think Stafford will come back in the game.
Real nigga right there, man. Fight for his team.
1 yard to gain. Throw.
Us. Touchdown. He only got one arm too, bruh.
The Lions
Nah, I ain't gonna lie, that's
did
goat
finish the
shit.
season with a 2-14 record.
2-14 better than
which is
0-16.
But hey, at least 2 wins is better than last season.
Yeah, 2 wins better than
Stafford did
0.
Take a shoulder injury that sidelined him for part of the season, but he never lost his confidence. In just 10 games played, Stafford made one thing clear. He was the guy. And now after a tough rookie season for Matthew Stafford, coming into 2010, expectations for him were pretty high. The Lions had made some key additions with another year of experience under his belt.
Ah,
Take a big leap. But in the season opener against the Chicago Bears, disaster would strike.
damn, look at these graphics. Fumble. He got hurt that play.
The Lions struggled without him, but when he finally returned in Week 8, Stafford put on a show.
Damn, he dropped 4
touchdowns
touchdowns.
and a dominant win.
That's insane. No, that's insane. What the fuck?
The Lions
How did they not-
struggled without him, but when he finally
Yeah,
returned in
how
Week
did they not
8,
tackle this
Stafford put
nigga?
on a show, throwing 4 touchdowns and a
Boy,
dominant win
damn near 3 tackles.
Being blitzed, throws, touchdown to the tight end, Brandon Pettigrew. Regain the lead. Stafford gets time and throws. Touchdown, Calvin Johnson. 4th down, Stafford throws. Touchdown.
Calvin Johnson was just fucking different, dog.
Start of the game.
3 touchdowns for
Though
Calvin that game.
return was short-lived. Just 1 week later against the New York Jets, Stafford re-injured his shoulder while being sacked late in the game. The injury would ultimately require surgery, ending his season after just 3 starts. And now at this point too, critics started questioning if Stafford was injury-prone because, I mean, through 2 seasons,
He do look
had
injury
played just
prone.
13 of 32 possible games. But that's the thing, is that Stafford was never phased. He was more ready to show everybody just how tough he actually was. And in 2011, everything changed. For the first time in his career, Stafford played all 16 games. And with a
Yeah.
healthy season came jaw-dropping production. In Week 4, the Lions trailed the Cowboys 27-3 in the 3rd quarter. Stafford led a ferocious rally, throwing 2 touchdowns to Calvin Johnson in the 4th quarter to complete the comeback.
Chuck ball, snaggy, sus.
Johnson with a touchdown.
In Week 15, Stafford threw for 4 touchdowns in the second half against the Raiders, including the game winner to Calvin Johnson with 39 seconds left.
Fuck the Raiders. Raiders K.
And then in Week 17, Stafford put up a ridiculous
5 tuds
and 5 touchdowns in a shootout with the Packers.
5 tuds. Not gonna lie, his sidearm is nasty. Stafford's sidearm is nasty, bro. He smacked. Yo, that boy got CTE going in that end zone, though. Holy sh. Damn.
By the end of the season, he became just the 4th quarterback in NFL history to throw for over 5,000 yards, finishing with 5,000
Yeah, 5K.
and 41 touchdowns. But
Sheeshers.
it wasn't just Stafford's individual talent that's
Not gonna lie, he's not doing that without Megatron, though, but we won't talk about it. I mean, he did have, like, one of the best receivers of all time. Best fade ball receivers, aka Megatron.
Stafford threw for 380 yards.
They made the playoffs?
touchdowns, proving he could perform under the
The
bright
fuck?
lights. And I mean, truthfully, everyone expected the Lions to be back in that spot 1 year later, but there was one problem they kept having throughout that entire year, which was close losses. Like, I mean, the Lions seemed to be in every single game, but
They was just losing all
couldn't
close
finish
games.
when they were in those close games. In Week 3 against the Titans, the Lions lost 44-41 in overtime after a failed quarterback sneak on 4th down.
Tough. They did not let his big ass. Damn. Imagine a random intense game between the Lions and Titans. Nobody probably
In Week 9
expected that.
against the Jags, the Lions dominated in yardage but struggled in the red zone, settling for field goals instead of touchdowns as they lost 24-20. In Week 11, Detroit led 20-14.
Wow, they was really losing all them games close to
touchdown
shit.
to Randall Cobb, losing 24-20 once again. After a solid 4-4 start, everything fell apart and the Lions went on to lose their final 8 games. to
Damn,
finish
they didn't win no more games.
Stafford still put up the big numbers, throwing for 4,967 yards, but his touchdown total dropped from 41 in 2011 to just 20 in 2012. A big part of that was the red zone struggles. I mean, he led the NFL in pass attempts with 727, yet the
Damn.
Lions failed to capitalize when it mattered most. But one thing did stand out. It was Calvin Johnson's historic season. With Stafford feeding him the ball, Megatron shattered Jerry Rice's single-season receiving yards record, finishing with
Finna watch some Calvin Johnson highlights,
1,064
boy.
yards. Week after week, Stafford kept looking for Johnson, and while it didn't translate to wins, the two made NFL history together. After that disaster that was 2012, though, the Lions made several moves to reload around Matthew Stafford. They brought in Reggie Bush to finally give him a reliable weapon.
I forgot I don't remember them getting Reggie Bush.
Expectations were once again sky high. With Stafford, Calvin Johnson still in his prime, and an upgraded offense, Detroit was ready to bounce back. And for a while,
Were they?
It did look like they were bouncing back. The Lions started 6-3, and with Aaron Rodgers injured for the Green Bay
shit.
Packers and Chicago dealing with their always
6-3.
quarterback issues, the NFC North was wide open. But then, it all fell apart. Detroit
got hurt?
lost 6 of their final 7 games, finishing 7-8.
Tough.
At T. Rowe Price, we can guide you with the right solutions to help bring your retirement dreams to life. That's the power of curiosity. Better questions, better outcomes. T. Rowe Price. Invest with confidence.
Only Electrolux has Smart Boost technology for the most effective stain removal and longer-lasting fabrics. Now available.
And missing the playoffs. And just like in 2012, the biggest issue was blown leads and late game collapses. Despite another season with 4,600 plus passing yards and 29 touchdowns, Stafford's inconsistency late in games became a talking point. Could he actually win when it mattered most? Now, the biggest change in 2014 wasn't Stafford, it was the defense.
I got Ndamukong
The
Suh.
dominant front led by Ndamukong Suh, Ziggy Ansah, DeAndre Levy, and Glover Quinn.
Yeah, I only knew
Detroit's
Ndamukong Suh.
defense became one of the best in the league. They ranked second in total defense and were the #1 rushing defense, holding opponents to just 69.3 rushing yards per game, and the results showed. At the end of the season, Detroit finished 11-5, their best record since 1991.
Damn.
Stafford had his first career win against a team with a winning record on the road, and for the first time, it felt like the Lions were finally built for playoff success. Even in the wild card game against the Dallas Cowboys, Detroit came out swinging. Stafford led an early touchdown drive, and the Lions built up to a 20
That boy Golden Tate.
third quarter. The defense was pressuring Tony Romo, and for a moment, it looked like Detroit would win their first playoff game in over 20 years. Then, disaster struck.
Matthew Stafford started throwing picks. No. Damn, they overturned that call. I mean, he didn't have his head turned around though.
That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. And you know it. You know it is though. I know.
That is kind of a crazy call.
Tony Romo led a go-ahead touchdown drive, and the Cowboys won the game 24-20, ending Detroit's
Sorry ass
season
Cowboys had to
in
cheat to beat them.
heartbreak.
Y'all had to cheat to
And
beat
following
the Lions
season,
too.
things continued to downward spiral. Detroit started the 2015 season 1-7 and were never able to recover.
1-7.
The offensive line collapsed, Stafford was constantly under pressure, and the running game was non-existent. He was sacked 44 times, the second most in the league.
44
and at one
times?
point, he was even benched mid-game against Arizona after throwing 3 interceptions.
That's, man, they benched him for 3 interceptions. That's not crazy.
Were fired. Offensive coordinator Joe Lombardi was fired, and Lions fans were desperately hoping for a bounce back the following season. But coming into the 2016 season, there was one problem.
Molly, Stephen A.
Yep, he retired.
It didn't surprise me.
Damn,
and
bro.
I do believe that Calvin Johnson, the great Calvin Johnson, will stay retired.
After spending 9 years in the NFL, Calvin Johnson just decided that was enough. He had taken enough.
Them injuries, bro.
Body. I spoke to a source close.
Damn, bro. I wish he could have played a couple more seasons,
that
bro.
source told me that he was going to retire within the next 2 years, but at the end of this past season.
Oh yeah, I forgot Calvin. He didn't tell them that was his last season, but he knew in his head.
During the week, and the source told me that losing and injuries had taken a toll on him.
But even without Megatron, there was one thing that Stafford knew for sure, and it was that he wasn't going to let the Lions collapse. He was too tough for that. Instead, he elevated his game to a level we had never seen Matthew Stafford get to, and it became one of the most entertaining NFL seasons anyone had ever seen. Stafford had become the most clutch quarterback in the NFL. Detroit found itself trailing in the fourth quarter almost every week, yet somehow Stafford kept pulling off miracle finishes.
Matthew Stafford with ice in his veins?
Stafford had 8 fourth quarter comebacks, the most in NFL
8 fourth quarter
history for a
comebacks?
single season.
I remember that.
The Lions finished 9-7, making
I remember that play by
the playoffs,
Tate.
but the season ended with a brutal 26-6 loss to Seattle in the wild card round.
I mean, I played
Stafford
Seahawks.
against a dominant Seahawks defense.
Yeah,
For
we played
the next couple of
Seahawks.
years, Stafford would kind of go up and down with the Lions, as in 2017 they did finish 9-7 again, but this time they missed the playoffs, and then all of a sudden things started to go downhill. The Lions finished 6-10 in 2018, and just a year later, injuries got to Stafford. In Week 9, Stafford suffered a back injury that kept him sidelined for the next 8 games. When he
Sheesh.
finally did return the following season, he played well.
How many retruck that boy?
1,084 yards and 26 touchdowns. But one thing was clear. The Lions had no shot at being Super Bowl contenders. Like, I mean, truthfully, the run game was awful. The offensive line couldn't block worth a damn. And while the defense was giving up points like it was Halloween and they were handing out candy for free. Like, something needed to change, and that's when the phone rang.
Well, Adam Schefter had the news first. Adam, talk about this trade. Did it happen quickly? What did you know about it as the day progressed on Saturday?
News, a blockbuster trade in the NFL.
Yeah, this was a crazy ass
Detroit
trade.
is dealing Matthew Stafford to the
Because
LA
Jared
Rams
Goff
in
led them to the
exchange
Super
for
Bowl
2
and they
future
traded him,
first-round picks, a
which made no
third-round pick,
sense.
and Jared
Stafford, I mean, that was Stafford. That was stupid for the
is not
Rams.
an MVP
I mean, that was,
caliber player. He's a good
yeah, I mean, that was stupid for the
quarterback.
Rams.
He's not a great
Even though they got a
quarterback.
ring out of it, though.
You give up Goff 2 firsts and
They gave
a
up
third?
Goff and
Think
2
of the
first
draft
rounds?
capital you gave up for Ramsey. One of these guys are going to draft in the first round
That's
again.
crazy work.
Stephen A., basically what this trade says is they have to win a Super Bowl. They got to win a Super Bowl. What?
I'm the voice inside.
Dang, they really won a
While you're
Super Bowl,
typically
bro. I'm
athletic.
bro, I ain't
Right
gonna lie,
now,
I'm low-key
Rick,
jealous.
you're pathetic.
I'm low-key
Shame.
jealous, bro. They did build a super team.
And if you don't have the right auto coverage,
Should I just be on my
can hit you
backup
out of
account, bro? My
nowhere.
fault.
An MSC cruise isn't just a vacation, it's a holiday full of European style and...
And all the things Americans love too. Come on.
In the next 2 years, or it's a disaster.
It was a bittersweet moment for many Lions fans who had watched Stafford grow from a young, talented, but often ignored quarterback into one of the league's best. Stafford had given it his all, but the constant cycle of disappointment and rebuilding in Detroit meant that his true potential had never been realized. But for Stafford, the trade was a long-awaited opportunity to finally...
I know he was ready to get out of Detroit, boy.
The Rams under new head coach Sean McVay had...
I know he was
that
ready.
was ready to win right then and there.
That's what sucks about being #1 pick, bro. You gotta go on that trash ass team.
Offense full of weapons like Cooper Kupp. And in that 2021 season, Stafford wasted no time settling into with his new team. In his Rams debut, he threw for 321 yards and 3 touchdowns in a 34-14 victory over the Chicago Bears in Week 1. Like, I mean, he looked right at home, connecting with Cooper Kupp for a 2-touchdown performance, and the chemistry was almost immediate. And Stafford's deep ball accuracy seemed to open up the offense in ways that they hadn't been able to with Goff. The Rams started the season 7.
I mean, I ain't gonna lie. Stafford is a way better quarterback. I mean, I wouldn't even say at the time Stafford was way better than Goff. I wouldn't say way better, but he was better.
He finished the season with 4,886 yards passing, 41 touchdowns, and just 17 receptions, and this was by far his most efficient season as a pro with the help of Cooper Kupp, who led the league in receiving yards and touchdowns.
Offensive player of the year.
45 receptions, 1,947 yards, and 6
Triple crown.
The Rams finished 12-5, winning the NFC West and securing a playoff spot. But Stafford had never been able to win a playoff game in Detroit. Could he do it now?
I wish we would have beat the Rams, bro. Jaquiski Tartt, bro. I'll forever hate you, bro. Jaquiski Tartt, bro.
As the playoffs started in the wild card round against the Cardinals,
Could have beat these dudes, bro.
2 yards and 2 touchdowns, leading the Rams
Beat them
to a
twice this year, bro.
34-11 victory. Next week in the divisional
But Aaron
round
Donald's
against
too
the Tampa Bay
good.
Buccaneers, Stafford delivered in dramatic fashion.
Damn, they're gonna talk about my Niners. I'm gonna crash out now.
Touchdowns, including a game-winning drive in the final minutes to defeat Tom Brady's Bucks.
Cooper Kupp was dominating. Anybody in front of Cooper Kupp, he was not guarding him. Damn, he really beat Tom Brady.
All the way to Super Bowl
Yes, I'm glad they skipped the Niners game. Yes.
Where Stafford absolutely lit it up, throwing for 283 yards and 3 touchdowns, including a game-winning touchdown to Cooper Kupp.
I'm not gonna lie, them boys lucky. Them boys lucky they had Aaron Donald, bro. Jamar Chase was open. But yeah, they had nobody to guard Cooper Kupp at all.
The Rams won the game 23-20, finally giving Stafford his long-awaited first-ever Super Bowl victory. After that Super Bowl win, the Rams definitely weren't the same team. I mean, star linebacker Von Miller left in free agency. Robert Woods, a key wide receiver, was traded to the Titans. And OBJ still hadn't re-signed with the team even after tearing his ACL in the Super Bowl.
I mean, y'all got y'all ring, bro. Y'all good, bro.
Stafford started the 2022 season strong. However, injuries soon began to catch up with him. He dealt with a neck injury and elbow issues, which severely affected his performance. Meanwhile, heading into the 2023 season, though, this team wasn't expected to do anything special. But surprisingly, the Rams were able to finish with a winning record, but they barely missed the playoffs. Finally, coming into the 2024 season once again,
Not gonna lie, their defense did really good this year. That's why I feel like they did good. Their defense
Stafford
was
was
nice.
36 years old and in his 14th NFL season. But Stafford did what Stafford does best and showed one thing that he's shown throughout his entire career. Just how
And you got
tough
Puka
he is.
Nacua.
He fought hard, leading the Rams to a 10-7 record and even a playoff win against the Vikings. Like, I mean, even at his old age, he showed that he still has.
That nigga Sam Darnold sold that game.
And that's the thing too. Matthew Stafford isn't just a
I
quarterback.
fuck with Matthew Stafford though. I think he deserves a Hall of Fame though.
NFL history.
That's on cap it up, y'all boys, man. Let me know what y'all think, man. Y'all boys hit the like button, sub if you're new, man. We out, man.